So as you can see, this is another segment.
Struggle to sort of bring this river back.
Hillman belongs to the Karuk tribe.
This is another segment, reviving the salmon population. We've listened in conversations which reported or communicated that they were going to alter, NSA is planning on altering all of this, all of the their daily broadcasts of CBS News, and chop it up and alter the dates and everything. And everyone at CBS is on board, and they're pretty sure that the whole country has been notified. But we're just gonna act as if that actually makes sense. I'm pretty sure that everything is documented. They need hope. That's what they keep saying. No, they don't need hope. I promise you. If they surrender and just accept it, it's gonna be easier to handle. The shocking loss that they anticipate to experience quite soon. Okay, so it's not a loss of their will to live. It's a loss of their will to believe what they believe, or to preach and believe in hate, and to believe that that's just how things are or ought to be. You know, that every country ought to be that way. And since we're the greatest country in the world, we could give a damn less about what other immigrants go through elsewhere, including Americans, per se, or except Americans. Who knows? That's why we have world wars. That's why there are threats of world war forever, threats of nuclear warfare forever, if we don't get in the way of that right now. Okay? We have technology and infrastructure evolving and growing especially impending, at an accelerated, at an exponential rate. That's what's going on, and that's what we anticipate at a greater level moving forward. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's understood on a general basis. But yes, we are gonna ship out Melvin Ote. I'm pretty sure the Melvin Ote is about 6'1" to 6'2". We're gonna ship out Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, and associates, not including my family members, to Canada. They're going to be exiled to Canada, and they they acquired Canadian citizenship or permanent residence and so forth, claiming that they are of multinational descent or multinational citizenship, and they are the real Interpol and CIA agents and stuff like that. We tricked them into that just to ease them into being kicked out of the country. This is what we do. We've done this for hundreds of years. Every time we find segments of the population which are revolutionary in being shockingly anti-immigrant or anti-other race, being and completely racist. We ship them out secretly to Canada. That's how Canada has been Americanized. They have clearly they have clearly American accents. The Canadian people, for the most part. Every once in a while on television, the agents demand that they sound a bit weird here and there, but it's just an act. They have complete American accents. Everyone, I would say about 85% of Canadians are from American descent. It's been that way for a while, and they alter their names to have an Eastern European last names and this and that, their identities and so forth. Okay. For instance, Drake's mother, she's from New York, okay? And his father is a West Indian from Jamaica. That's top secret. It was declassified, but that's just the reality of Canada. Okay, so we're gonna ship her out. Okay, Attorney General Letitia James, they're gonna fake their death within 2.5 weeks or so, or at least Attorney General Letitia James and a decoy. So I'm gonna have mercy. Well, we're gonna have mercy, but they're gonna move out to Canada, and trust me, they're gonna be scared to re-enter the United States. They would have to ask me for work release and this and this, and I'm gonna be very serious. Okay, so we are shipping out at least 100,000 New Yorkers, Manhattaners, New Yorkers in general, to Canada, and especially the Manhattaners. We're shipping them out to Canada, at least 100,000. To Ontario, and we're going to move the New York Jets to Toronto. It's going to be the Toronto Jets. and we're going to falsely purport it as being a temporary move until New York, until Manhattan is completely rebuilt, recovers. It's no longer for some sort of radiation effect, a negative radiation effect, and so forth. And then eventually they're going to find out that the Toronto Jets are here to stay, and that Ontario and the rest of English speaking Canada are going to be even more pronounced as American based or American focused. And we're going to remove the borders between the United States of America and Canada over the next few years, honestly, with the EAA and a supplemental agreement that corresponds with the EAA. It's not going to allow open borders throughout the hemisphere in a few years. That's going to occur in 25 years with the Union of the Americas. But it's going to allow the United States and Canada to no longer have border restrictions for citizens or residents of either country. And so that's the plan. That's going to work out perfectly. We've been working on this for a very long time. A lot of the Haitian refugees and folks in Haiti right now, they're preparing to move to Quebec. Quebec has consented to the Canadian government, including the provincial government, aside the provincial government of Quebec, have assented to this arrangement. Eventually, it's going to be detailed in policy, communications to the United States government and so forth. There are millions of Haitians are going to move out to Quebec, and not just necessarily Quebec City or just metropolitan areas, but throughout Quebec, the Canadian province of Quebec. And that's one of the deals. That's one of the reasons why there's going to be a staged strike by the U.S. military on the Haitian government, and this and this and that. Okay, so everything is being covered up. Everything is staged, in all honesty. And so we're going to bring a lot of Mexican immigrants and Central American immigrants to British Columbia and Manitoba and Mississauga and so forth. A lot of Mexican and Central American immigrants and migrants are going to end up in Canada, and not even immigrants, certainly not immigrants, but migrants. Mexican and Central American migrants are going to move out to Western Canada or Pacific Canada, however you want to identify it. And so we are not going to deplete America of any. We're not going to deplete America of any immigrant population. We're just not going to do so. Okay? So the Hispanic population is going to remain the core immigrant population of the United States, the Latino or Hispanic immigrant population. We are not trying to trick anyone into anything offensive or denigrative or irrational or which contrasts the Constitution of the United States, what we prioritize, or the United Nations constitutional documents or founding documents, not even constitutional documents, but founding documents. And we do have to feed a cat, which was adopted by one of my tenants. I guess the cat thinks that it has always been here. But anyway, you guys can keep feeding the cat. I just don't need it in here all the time like that. But anyway, all right, I see that. All right, so yeah.
Months later, and there was a backlash, and it didn't last very long.
There's nothing else to say about that. But,